Today I am going to process the last of my apples here. I have not that many left, but I certainly don't want them to go to waste. And I have already eaten all those apple chips that I made. So I am going to make apple chips with these, and then with the scraps I'm going to make apple jelly. Somebody had requested that I make apple jelly, and I hadn't considered it, but then when I looked at the recipe, I thought, oh, that's great, no pectin. I'll try that. Apples have enough pectin themselves. As a matter of fact, I think pectin is made from apples in some cases, and so I'm going to try to make apple jelly. First things first, I've got my pot of water with lemon, and that's for the apples themselves. So we're going to get the apples peeled, cored, sliced, and put on the dehydrator before we go, before we do anything else. Definitely enough scraps here to make our jelly. So at this point I am just going to put enough cold water to cover it. That should do it. And we'll put this on the stove to boil until the apples are soft. Meanwhile, I will be working on getting these chipped. Okay, this is my apple scraps with a few extra apples tossed in that couldn't fit on the dehydrator. So we'll just let this boil for a few minutes. And I was going to add more water, but I don't think I will. I think that there's plenty of water in there. Okay, I don't want to break this up and make it turn to mush. Okay, so we'll just let that boil, come to a boil and boil for a few minutes. Okay, the recipe that I'm following says to boil these apples until they are soft but not quite breaking up. And then we want to strain them gently. Okay, I have strained it out, and the idea is not to press it down and try and get any of the pulp in the juice, because it'll still taste well, it'll just be cloudy. And from what I can tell right now, it is a little bit cloudy. Maybe that will go away. Okay, now the next thing that we have to do is, and this is the interesting part, is that we measure so for each cup of liquid we have to add half a cup of sugar. So my pot is here and I'm going to measure. That is 4 cups of liquid back into the pot. I think we have about 5 cups here. And that is another cup. So we have a total of 5 cups of liquid. And this goes back on the stove with half a cup of sugar for every cup. So that is 2.5 cups of sugar. So we'll add that in now. Okay, I've got my half cup measuring cup and I want 5 of these because I've got 5 cups of liquid, so half a cup per cup. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's the nice thing about this recipe, is that it is based on actually how much liquid you do produce from whatever apples you put in there. Okay, so you can have, you have whatever apple scraps, you top that up with water, boil it until it's fairly soft but not breaking up. Strain the liquid off. Don't push the pulp in to try and get more liquid, just strain it off gently. Put the water back, measuring half a cup of sugar per every cup of water or liquid. So we're back on the stove, and the other thing that we have to add is some lemon juice. So 1 tablespoon for every 2 cups. And then we'll bring this to a boil until it thickens. Okay, just get it back up on the heat and let it thicken up. Pretty color. Meanwhile, I'm going to tidy up here again and get some jars ready. I suspect that this will reduce as it's cooking, but we'll see how much it will reduce. Okay, I did the gel test, which is where you put a teaspoon of the liquid on a dish that has been put in the freezer, and if it doesn't run and it forms, you can push your finger through it, it's gelled, and this has definitely gelled. I'm quite happy with it. The trick though is that I did have to add a little bit more lemon juice than what the recipe calls for. I always seem to have to add a little bit more lemon juice. Anyway, I've got 4 jars here. I may need a 5th. So I'm going to fill these up. Now each one of these jars is 1 cup. And yes, I could already see that it's gelling up, that it's getting firm. And I will be processing these, and well, it looks like probably 3 jars will do it. Maybe only 2. What, I'm going to go find a smaller jar. I know I have 1/2 one there. So 2.5 cups from 5 cups of liquid. But that's all good. It would have been all scrap. A little bit more than 2.5. My hands aren't strong enough to hold that for a long time. Okay, I'm going to get some lids and some rings, some vinegar, a pot of water, and we are going to water bath candies. And this is awesome. First time I've made apple scrap jelly. Okay, well here we are. I've got the pot back on the stove with some water boiling. I've got a steamer rack that'll fit at the bottom of this pot. The jelly jars came out absolutely beautiful. They're clear, which is very nice. Ouch, and still hot. And I've got my lids and rings ready, my vinegar ready. Wipe the edges. It's the top edge that you want to make sure is clean, because that is what the lid adheres to. And lid ready. I really like it when you can make something from nothing. Something from what you would have thrown away. And jelly certainly is a nice, a welcome something from nothing. Okay, rings, and yes, that is hot. Yep, that one's the vinegar. And I also have some more water on this in a kettle boiling, just in case this does not cover these up. So the water in the pot is just about boiling, so I'm going to put this in. And when it comes to a boil, we're going to process these for 10 minutes. Now, I think these would make an awesome gift for somebody, and I have those lovely little covers and tags that I could use with these. Okay, number 3, we're done. Just wait for these to seal, to pop, and now I just clean up the mess. Hope you enjoyed this video.